Today we're going to be launching a business. These are the things I do for my clients when we have to launch their business or their collection. These are the step-by-step processes we go through to make sure launch is a success. First thing I do is create a roadmap. The roadmap is going to comprise of 3 stages: pre-launch, launch, post-launch. Pre-launch are the things you do before you launch. Launch are the things you do when you're ready to launch your business. Post-launch are the things that should happen after you have launched your business. So in the pre-launch phase, these are the things we're going to do. First of all, market research. I love market research because when you research what happens in your market or your niche, you get a broad idea of how what you're building is going to contribute to that niche or ecosystem. So as always, market research to understand who our customers are, where they are at, where we should be spending time on, and all of that jazz. Number 2, once I found out where my customers are at, I'm going to start collecting feedback. Take for instance, I'm launching a vintage collection. I love vintage shirts, as you can tell. First thing I'm going to do is find out where people who love shirts like this too are. If I can't collect feedback online, I'll go in person. Take for instance, I see somebody beautifully dressed in a vintage shirt, a guy, a girl, anybody wearing a vintage shirt. I approach them. Hi, I love your shirts. Where'd you get them? First thing you want to do is build a rapport. You don't just walk up to somebody and tell them, oh, hi, I'm selling a shirt. Nobody cares. You try to build a rapport. As much as people don't have time to talk, if you come off well, they will have a conversation with you. So if you pitch yourself or your product properly, maybe you show them samples, you show them whatever, they might just tell you, I really love what you're doing. Let me get your number, and when you launch, I might just buy one from you. You've gotten one potential customer from that conversation. And online, I'll start to build a community on TikTok where I share tips on how to style vintage shirts. Once I've created a bit of buzz with my tips on how to style vintage shirts and all of that, I'll then focus on creating content around the product that I wish to sell. So behind the scenes of how these shirts are being sewn, put together, put in their boxes, all of that just to give people insights as to what I'm doing behind the scenes. Another thing I'm going to do on this product phase is tell people why I'm launching my brand. For me now, I would emphasize on my love for vintage shirts. Scroll through my profile and you see how much I love vintage shirts, right? Another thing I'm going to share are the feedbacks I got from those people I reached out to during the early stage, and I've put them in a group or put them together in a newsletter form. Basically updates them on the processes of my journey so they don't forget me, right? These people will be my first few customers. I'll share the feedback I got from the 10 to 20 people on social media, on my new TikTok page to build brand trust. All of these are the things I will do before I finally make that post coming soon. When you stumble on my coming soon post and you check my previous post, you get a very decent idea of why I'm building this, all of the research I've done, already preparing you for when I launch. That's the anticipation you're trying to build. All of the posts that I've made on TikTok so far are enough to build anticipation for when I actually launch. There are a bunch of other things that you do once you're ready to launch, and I'll get to that part in the next video.